Alright, this is going to be the last video from the Mike Hunt What I Reckon series. You can't see my face, but you know who I am. Yeah, not the last video ever, I'm sorry, but it's going to be the last video of this little section that has been entitled What I Reckon about stuff. So I'll get back to you with some of the answers about what I reckon should be done, which is what I've started doing in my last two videos. Obviously it's easier said than done. We need to talk for a long time about it, but I hope we will have the opportunity to do that. I just want to I just want to support the notion of a moneyless society a little bit more before I leave you to think about it. Nobody has watched any of these videos yet. It's the first time in history I think that YouTube has said no views when you go on a video, but yeah, hopefully someone will watch it. Hopefully all of you will start watching it. There we go, that's a bit better. I can see my face a little bit more. Yeah, so anyway, monetary system, no good for anyone. Why, I hear you say? Wasn't money a great idea? Don't we need it? I will say the answer to these questions are yes and no. It was a great idea when it was invented. I think, honestly, it was a really brilliant idea because it saved actually physically carrying blocks of gold around, or diamonds, or whatever else you used for trade. Not that there should be any real value in gold or diamonds. I think these things are made valuable purely by their scarcity. So I don't really see how that constitutes any real value. Certainly not in the sense of trade and possibility. I don't see how really any of these shiny objects that we become so attached to, that we're so attracted to, really can have any true value. But anyway, they are deemed to do so, and as opposed to carrying these items, we carry money, so that's convenient. Other things we could do is barter. So again, it's not ideal to be expected to carry a sack of potatoes, is it? Or a kilo of flour or something like that everywhere you go. I mean, not that a kilo of flour would be worth much. I mean, it should be worth a lot more than gold, because you can make a lot of bread with a kilo of flour. So you can actually keep people alive with a kilo of flour. A kilo of gold pretty much achieves nothing, although I think it does have some useful conductive properties. So anyway, obviously I will do anything possible to avoid the point when talking, so I'm going to get back to the point. If I block that sunlight you can see my face, but then I look like I'm doing a Vulcan hand salute, which is not the idea. Oh shit, man, I've just lost track completely. Right, so money, yeah, good idea, because it saves carrying, a pound of potatoes, or a litre of water, or a sack of cotton, or whatever other materials people might reasonably require to fulfill a given purpose. And instead of trading these items, we have a currency that we can trade instead. So it's kind of really, really great idea. In fact, in principle, a convenient idea. And the other question was, do we need it? So it sounds like, yeah, we do need it, because we don't want to have to do those things. But if we can find an alternative, then I think we don't need it anymore. And I am going to explain an alternative, hopefully in the next series of videos. But I want a bit of feedback. I want some of you people to actually watch these videos and respond, because I know most of you are going to disagree with this, and I really am going to prove how easily this idea could work. But you need to give me the opportunity to do that. I don't just want to start talking. I mean, what I've been doing so far is just talking, because I want to get the principles out there. I want to get the possibilities. I want to get them brewing in your minds, because you will see, with a little bit of thought and a little bit of courage, that everything I'm talking about is completely possible. You will see that. You will see that easily. You got to do with any kind of system, because as I say, money wasn't the worst idea in the world, but you got to weigh up the pros and cons. You got to see how it's being used and how it affects people. So that's what I want to do just very quickly now. Okay, so if you've got lots and lots of money, then it's really great. You can buy anything, you can buy anyone, you can go anywhere, you can do anything pretty much, and it really is irrelevant, you know, once you get past a certain point. You got $1 billion or $10 billion, makes no difference really. It just is, it becomes a license to do anything you can. Of course, if you don't have a lot of money, so if you've got a lot of money, it's great, it's brilliant. I cannot levy any criticism against it. Well, except it makes people want what you've got, and it breeds envy and jealousy, and makes people want to steal from you. But that ain't necessarily your problem. But what is your problem is when you don't have money. And as I've discussed, as a human being, there are certain things that you should reasonably expect to be entitled to in life, and that is, shelter and sustenance, and so that means food and accommodation basically, but in most societies you can't have any of those things without money, so you're obliged to enter the monetary system. Alright, there are anarcho-syndicalist communes around the world, I'm sure, and if you're lucky enough to get involved in one of them, maybe you can get away with it, but even those things need some kind of capital to set up, I think. Moreover, they need permission to exist on plots of land, and if they don't have that permission, then they become squatters and they're breaking other laws, and they can't grow food, or they'll be evicted for doing that even, because generally if it's not your land, you can't do things like that. If you don't own the land, you're not allowed to do things like that. So we see that, basically if you don't have money, it's not such a great system. So what? Get money. It's not my problem, is it? I got loads of money. You ain't got nothing. Fuck you. Sort it out. That's up to you. Yeah, right? Maybe. But what? How do you do that then? You got to get a job. So how do you get a job that pays money? I'm talking about a job that actually covers the cost of living. Because if cost of living wasn't so high, then money wouldn't be such a problem. But cost of living is very high, and so you absolutely have to get a job that covers your cost of living, covers your rent, covers your food, covers your bills, covers any other sundry items. Heaven forbid, covers the opportunity to actually enjoy your life a little bit, instead of just being like this battery that I've discussed in previous videos, where you are literally powering a machine for the propagation of that machine and no real purpose or benefit in your own life. You don't want to live like that, do you? So to actually have some quality of life, some fulfillment in your life, you need a lot of money, and it's not easy to get a lot of money, because to get a lot of money you've got to have a good job, which means you've got to know someone who's giving away good jobs, or you've got to be really skillful or really well qualified. This is where we get to the rub. You can't achieve these things without having come from a moneyed background. You can't, once in a while you get a person that claws their way up from nothing, they get a lucky break, or they just do it through pure effort, but it is once in a while. And because you've seen a programme on television about someone that happened to, don't forget about the other 7 billion people in the world that ain't happened to, and that are fucking struggling. Alright, don't forget about those people, because life ain't just about the people on the television having the parties. Life's about everyone that lives here, that shares it, that is a part of it. So it's important, I think, to remember that. I still haven't got to the point, have I? 10 minutes in and I have not got to the fucking point. I am terrible. Alright, let's make it as brief as possible. Money traps everybody into situations that they don't want to be in. It creates obligations that people cannot necessarily fulfill unless they already come from a privileged background, because education is barely free. A good education certainly isn't free. University is no longer free. I mean, you're going to be on average £27,000 in debt, just for getting an education to to a standard that actually makes you employable in this day and age, because obviously jobs are not easy to come by, and if you know, if you've got if you've got a lot of overheads, then you need a really good job, and you can't get a really good job because you can't afford to go to university, you know. You can't afford to run a car, you can't afford to buy a place to live, you can't afford to rent a place to live. You almost can do nothing. So the monetary system is pretty pointless anyway, because most of us that are subject to it can't do anything with it anyway. Yeah, that's a disadvantage of the monetary system. What is really problem created by the monetary system is crime. You know, the majority of crime against property, and bear in mind that's the crime that they care about. That's why we have police forces, that's why we have government. It's protection of property. It's not protection of you, it's protection of property. And when you understand that, you'll see that all things in society are basically designed to protect the privileged, and everyone else is on their own, just like they were in the Stone Age, you know, when we didn't have money, and we're no better off. But the people with money, they were a lot better off, but the people without money, we're no better off. And yeah, you're going to come back as well and say, well, if you had a lot of money, you wouldn't be saying this. And you know what, you're probably right. If I had a lot of money, I'd probably be like having sex with a model on a big pile of cocaine right now. You know, if I had a lot of money, I very feasibly could be doing that. But I ain't, so I'm sitting outside in Mother Nature with one of the few material possessions I own in my hand, and I'm recording a message for the greater good, and I hope that somebody listens to this. As I say, in later videos I will get to the point about this, and I will get to ways of that we can sort it out on alternative methods, because that is really what we need, is an alternative method, an alternative system, because you can't withdraw this system from society and expect everything not to fall down around your ears. You can't expect that, so we need something to replace it with. But there's people like myself, and there's people far better organised and better educated and better informed than myself, that could quite easily tell you how to sort this out. I hope to sort this out one day. I hope to be able to tell you, but I want your response first. I want to know that someone's actually watching these videos, and that you know, some of my ideas might live beyond this moment.